Welcome back in, guys. Happy Monday. 2 of the 3 days over the weekend were winning days. Ended on a losing note on Sunday, though, so didn't pull it out yesterday. 1 and 3 day. But we got a lot of baseball coming up this week. Got a lot of good battles coming up. And, John, 2 weeks out here now from the trade deadline. Starting to see some teams you might be selling, might be buying. This first weekend obviously meant a lot to some of those teams for those situations. Don't know if you picked up anything on that over the weekend.
Yeah, well, I think the best thing the Mets could have done was lose yesterday. Scherzer comes up with a gem against the Dodgers, and they walk away with a W. Does that put it in their head? Hey, we can compete. Scherzer look great. Again, the best thing could have happened to them: get beat up. Scherzer gets beat up and blow this thing up. Mets are they ain't going anywhere. Don't know what they're going to do. You've got a billionaire that owns the team, so he could be a buyer if even though they're not buyers. I'm betting against the team today, the Cubs, who I think could be a seller. Already some talk about Stroman. Toronto's looking into him. Toronto absolutely is a player. They just swept this weekend, swept the Diamondbacks. Now, I don't think the Diamondbacks are a seller, but we could see the fall. Now the Dodgers have leapfrogged them, and even the Giants, by sweeping the Pirates, have jumped over the Diamondbacks. So you can see Diamondbacks coming down. It's still big improvement over last year, just not enough to get to where they were. They were playing out of their minds, and now they're in a little slump. Took them yesterday against Toronto. Just thought it was worth going against Kikuchi. Didn't materialize for us. So there's a couple of teams. Like I said, I think the Cubs, they'll be sellers. Those are a borderline team. San Diego, just like the Mets, don't know what they're going to do. They show glimpses, but they ran up against the tough Philly squad, and they got swept away after winning the opener in that series. Good team, good bats, good pitching. Darvish came around, what gave them a good game. Can they backdoor that wild card? You know, it could if they go on a run. So a couple of teams on the cusp, couple of teams I think are definitely sellers. And then, like I said, you get that. Even the Red Sox in the AL East, they're putting their foot to the metal. They're red hot right now.
Yeah, and they get Oakland coming up next, so that's they can keep it going right with that. The Cubs going to be interesting. A couple of pieces. You mentioned Stroman, Bellinger as well. I know he's been thrown in the mix a lot, conversation-wise. Basically, a lot of these Central teams. I mean, even if I got a buddy who's a Tigers fan, even if the Tigers, somehow make a run and make the playoffs, win that division, what's going to happen? You're going to get swept by Houston or the Rays or Baltimore. Like, what's the best situation if you make the playoffs? So they should all be committing to selling.
The Central in both leagues can't compete. They just can't. I mean, out of all the playoff teams, they're all the weaker teams. Cleveland, look at Cleveland go to Texas and get swept away. Milwaukee, they own the Reds. They just swept them out. Reds also another team coming back down to earth, and unless they get a pitcher, they're not going to be in it. But they're not going to beat the Brewers. Brewers own them. We talked about that going into this weekend series. So yeah, Central's tough. AL Central is going to be a Twins Cleveland battle, and it's been back and forth. But I mean, Cleveland. Could you have any worse luck? Now it's your 3 top pitchers from last year: Bieber, McKenzie, and Quantrill, all on the injured list at the same time. So again, we give the Twins the edge just because they have deep pitching. So yeah, I see Twins there. I see Milwaukee there, but I don't think either one is a challenge in either league.
Was that blown lead last night with the Angels, the kiss of death there for Ohtani, his time in LA? I mean, they give up 4 runs there in the ninth, just brutal.
That was absolutely brutal. And the Orioles almost lost one like that, giving up 4 in the ninth. These relief pitches don't get the job done. But yeah, Angels at this point, just so far back, don't know how that Ohtani's not done. It's just, I guess, who's ever going to get the best deal from that last night. That was terrible on Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah, Sunday night. It was at least a competitive Sunday Night Baseball game. Pretty interesting. But yeah, just blown lead. Tough there if you're the Angels. Tough moving forward. And
Sharp guys lost. They got absolute rushed yesterday. Sharps were all over the Angels. That game opened. You could have took plus 130 in the morning. That game went down to plus 05 at nighttime. So they lost that one. They were actually on the Cubs. against the Red Sox with Steele pitching. Steele had been magnificent. That didn't pan out for them. On the Tigers, once again, they went for the sweep. That didn't work out well for them. They were on the A's as we were. Now, we took 180 on that game. That game closed at 160. And so that was another loser. They had a rough day. Sharps had a rough day yesterday. So did we. We lost the A's game. But, again, we crushed that number. Also beat the number pretty good in the which other game we had? So we had – I got a blank here. So we had Washington. We beat the number in that one. That was one of the bad breaks. Candelario was a late scratch for us there. They didn't get the money, but that was the right side. Diamondbacks did go against us. After betting the Diamondbacks the first two games of the series, the Sharps kind of went the other way. I was on the Diamondbacks for that last game. Just thought if there was a game they're going to win, that was the game against Kikuchi. I had given them a little bit of a pitching edge. Kikuchi got racked up his first couple of times up. We could have put a couple of runs up in the first couple innings, just couldn't get the job done. And then the Brewers, another bad information game, originally come out that Adames was going to be out of the lineup. Cincinnati went high, and then Adames was in, and we wound up going with the Brewers, so we catch that one. But, getting back to the Ohtani deal, it's just what can you get back for him? This guy is unlike any other player in baseball history, so what can you pay for him?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be probably pretty much the talk of baseball next couple of weeks, what's going on with him there. And we'll see who else joins the buyers, sellers, all that talk, guys. We'll keep up with the next couple of weeks. It's definitely going to impact not just, the teams, but obviously the bets as well, which teams are going for it, which teams are not. It's going to create some value for some of those teams in that kind of 4, 5, 6 range in the wild card listings right now. John, we got 10 games going on this Monday card. Pretty small Monday card. Some interesting matchups. You ready to dive into it?
Let's do it.
First one, we got Giants at Cincinnati. Right now, Giants trailing the Reds, or actually holding the lead on the Reds now in the wild card, up a couple of games after this weekend. With Cincinnati struggles, they're getting swept by Milwaukee. San Francisco coming off a sweep against Pittsburgh. So hot and cold right now. We'll see if Cincinnati turns it around. Offense has just hit a wall for them. They had been shut out 3 straight games by the Brewers. They put up 3 runs yesterday, but no offense going right now for the Reds. And this Giants team, they've won 5 straight overall. But offense, again, granted, against Pittsburgh. So take it with a grain of salt. Webb versus Williamson, pitching mismatch today for Webb. Williamson has been decent last 2 starts, allowed 2 runs in 8 innings. And Webb, though, just been so consistent up there on top of the MLB as far as quality starts. Would have to be Giants or nobody. It's a big price on this game, but Reds are cold right now. It's hot versus cold. Don't want to get involved in it. Playoff indications there, pitching mismatch. Big price on the road, but Giants are nobody for me.
Yeah, same here. Giants are nobody. Reds, somewhat like Arizona. All of a sudden, they're up against the 6 straight games against their division rival Brewers, and they come out with 1 win. The last 4 games, they score a total of 3 runs, batting a cool $117. That's not going to get the job done. Not against Logan Webb, who chucked a shutout. His last time out, second in Major League Baseball, 14 quality starts. Hot Giants, cold Reds. Not laying the road favorite, but there would be Giants or nobody. Can't take the Reds right now.
Then it's Marlins at St. Louis. Right now, this Marlins team, they come out of the break. They get swept by Baltimore, then you have this Cardinals team who did take care of business a little bit against Washington. They've been playing better right now. They've won 4 of 5. This Miami team was red hot heading into the break. Luzardo might be the guy to get it back on track. 5 straight quality starts, 3-0, 1.15 ERA. One of those 6 shutout innings against the Cardinals. And then Mikolas, he's last 2 outings combined 10 shutout innings. The last one was on Friday. So going to be pitching on a little bit of short rest, but didn't go that deep on Friday. So that's going to be interesting. Either way, it's a weird situation for a pitcher to kind of mess up his routine like that. So don't like that already going for Mikolas. Luzardo's already been pitching better. This seems like a bounce back spot here for Miami. Cardinals playing well out of the break, but against Washington, we'll see if that continues. This has to be Miami or nobody for me with the pitching edge, and just Miami, I think, is a better team overall.
Yeah, well, that's what the Sharps said. They're all over Miami at this point. This game opened -125 St. Louis on the overnight. You're looking at a pick'em game here, basically. Luzardo's been great. What are we looking at? 1.15 ERA with 5 straight quality starts. On the road, though, a little bit of problems. 4.64 ERA. Mikolas, as you said, 3 scoreless innings in that suspended game with the Nationals Friday. So he'll come back on that rest. He threw 7 shutout innings in the start. Prior to that, Cardinals, are they turning the corner? Again, we talk about it like San Diego. You look at that lineup and you say this team can peel off a 6, 7, 8 game winning streak and get themselves back in the running. Taking 2 of 3 after losing the suspended game. Let's see what happens with them here. The value was at plus 115. A pick'em game, there's no value at that point. That's what I make the game. But the sharps were on Miami.
Yeah, going to be interesting if they become sellers or not. They have some key pieces there. Nationals at Cubbies next. Nats, they just dropped 2 of 3 at St. Louis. Meanwhile, the Cubs, they dropped 2 of 3 against Boston. They're 6-11 in their last 17. Again, another one of these teams we talked about likely to be sellers. Once you're already having that conversation in that dugout and then the dugout in the clubhouse, it's an issue already. So going to be interesting to see how the Cubs handle that these next couple of weeks. I know, what was it, Stroman in the interview kind of talking about how they have enough to make it work, this and that. So we'll see if that's the belief. Today, though, it'll be Nats or nobody. Gore versus Smiley. Smiley, last 3 starts, 14 runs and 11 and a third. Did allow 1 run versus the Nats over this year in a quality start. And Gore, he was used last time out against the Reds, and there was a delay, didn't come back. Prior to that was roughed up, so he's had a little bit of a weird pitching sequence going lately. Hasn't pitched too much. This is has to be Nats or nobody. We talk about it all the time with the road success. Smiley has reverse splits, worse at home, hasn't been pitching well. And already mentioned already with this Cubs team selling, going to be tough to have good morale there. So would lean here to the Nats.
Yeah, I would also, and then you throw in the Smiley, who's struggled, especially at home, 5.36 ERA in his last 3 starts. He's absolutely been brutalized. And the Nats just hit lefties well. They hit 279 versus the lefties. The Nationals are just undervalued on the road, 22-24, just 2 games under 500 for the year. I took the price here with Gore. He should come in strong. Again, an inning and a third in that rain game on July 6th. 2 2/3 innings. He got crushed, but 2 2/3 innings to start before that. So since June 25th, he's got a total of 4 innings. He should come in fresh. Look for him to have a game and get the Nats back on the road. Just Candelario is questionable in this game. He sat out the final game, but they originally had him in the lineup, making me think he's probable today. We'll see. We'd need Candelario, but I'm on the Nats in this one.
Then it's Rays at Rangers. Rays just got to 60 wins, still top record in the AL. Rangers right now 3rd in the AL. Both these teams been sliding a little bit, but come out of the break decent. Rays win 2 of 3 at Kansas City, still just 3-8 their last 11. And then Texas comes out and they sweep Cleveland. So they've been playing some decent ball now. Obviously, they lead the league, still scoring, hitting, pretty much everything there offensively. Then you have McClanahan versus Dunning. McClanahan, last 2 starts roughed up a bit, had back issues in both of them, was pulled early in both of them, gave up 6 runs in 6 2/3, and he's coming back now at the IL. So we'll see how much McClanahan has, what kind of a leash there is. But 2 starts in a row, not making it to the 4th inning with that back issue. We'll see how it goes. He's been less dominant on the road this season. And Dunning coming off a start where he was roughed up a bit. Prior to that, he had 4 straight quality starts. Pitching edge, we could argue slightly here to Dunning right now, just based off of right now, because McClanahan, pitcher coming off the IL, dealing with back issues. It's one thing to have a pitcher coming off the IL, but when it's your ace who leads the league in ERA, you're definitely going to be overly cautious with him. So tough to back a pitcher in that sense. Texas comes out, they get the sweep against Cleveland, a little bit of revenge from their series against Tampa earlier this year. This would be Texas or nobody.
Yeah, I'm on Texas in this one. Just tough to make the best offensive team a home dog. I get it. It's McClanahan. But McClanahan, as Ben said, making his first start coming off the IL, running into the IL. What did he pitch? A total of, what do we got here? 6.2 innings and 2 starts before that. So he's going to be limited. I would imagine I'm going to be keeping an eye on him, especially with the back. And then throw in the fact that Texas hits 295 off lefties, and Dunning pitching good baseball for them outside of his last start, which he got hit around a little bit at Washington. 4 starts prior to that, all quality starts, 3-0 with a 2.28 ERA. I'm taking the home dog Texas Rangers, who've got a lot to say because they got beat when they went over to Tampa. I think they get the job done tonight. Coming off a high yesterday on that comeback win, I think they're the team with the momentum. And also you've got Yandy Diaz. He missed the series in KC on paternity leave. Don't know if he's meeting the team in Texas just yet, but that would be another break for Texas if he doesn't show up. Yandy Diaz, third in the major leagues with 323 batting average.
Yeah, Tampa Bay with also that doubleheader on Saturday definitely factors into the longer weekend for them as well. So even just more there for the spot there with Texas.
And the travel.
Nope. Next game we have is Detroit at Kansas City. Now, this is an interesting game, tough to get a read on. Tigers, they won 2 of 3 against Seattle. They're 6 games back in the Central. Are they buying? Are they selling? I mean, I don't see them buying, but, Lorenzen and Rodriguez, are they keeping on to him is kind of the question or not. They have some pitching there. Manning versus Lyles. Manning coming off that combined no-hitter. He threw 6 2/3 of that combined no-hitter. 3 starts versus the Royals last year. Went 1-0, 3.65. And then Lyles, he's been better lately. His last start allowed 1 run in 5 innings against Cleveland. Prior to that, he had the quality start at Detroit earlier this year. He had the win against Tampa Bay. So his last few starts been a bit more serviceable, despite the fact that Royals have dropped, 16 of his 17 starts. So haven't got many wins with them, but he has been pitching a bit better lately. This is a road favorite with the Tigers, not looking to lay that too often. They do own this matchup a little bit, won 9 of the last 12 meetings, 4 of the last 6 at Kansas City. Just tough for me to lay them as a road favorite here. So the way Lyle's been going, this number were to go a bit higher, my lean would start turning to Kansas City, but I think this is a good number on this game.
Yeah, Kansas City is the worst team in baseball except for the Oakland A's, and I just don't want nothing to do with them. They had their big W yesterday over Tampa. Do I want to back Lyles, a pitcher that is they've won one of his starts all year, not against Manning. Manning looked real good. He's looked better in each of the games since coming back off the injured list. It did look 2 of the worst offenses in baseball here. Yep. And KC has a Salvi Perez. He left the game yesterday. He's going to be questionable. Big pitching advantage for Detroit. I make Detroit a better road team than KC is at home. So the number's right around 130 for me, and that's right around where it is.
Then Yankees at Angels. Yankees drop 2 of 3 at Colorado. They're down 2-6 their last 8. Meanwhile, this Angels team just as cold, if not worse, 2-11 their last 13, losing 2 of 3 to Houston. So 2 teams not playing well right now. 2 pitchers not going well right now. Severino, 1-4, 9.55 his last 7 starts. Last 2, he gave up 16 runs and 6 2/3 versus the Cards and the Orioles. And then Canning, last 2 starts, he gave up 9 runs, 4 homers, and 8 2/3. Prior to that, a pair of quality starts. 2 pitchers not going well, 2 teams not going well. This is just a tough game to go ahead and bet on. Maybe play the over in this game, but teams aren't really hitting that much. So tough to get a read here. Would be a slightest of leans to the Yankees getting dog money in a gross matchup, but I'm staying away from this game.
I got to correct you, Ben. The Angels are killing the ball right now. They're just not winning. Angels, 8.67 runs per game and hitting 308 since the break in that series against Houston. So they're crushing the ball. But as you said, 2 pitchers that are pitching horrible. Angels, the way they blew that game last night, it's just got to be miserable to go to the ballpark and then surround yourself with all the Ohtani chatter. Just 2 bad teams, 2 bad pitchers. Don't want nothing to do with this game. I made the line $1.20. That's basically what it is. So we'll look somewhere else for a play.
Then we have Red Sox at Oakland. John, still no pitcher in the box for Boston?
Still nobody officially announced for the Red Sox.
And then it's going to be Blackburn for Oakland. Either way, this matchup is going to be Red Sox or nobody. They've won 10 of their last 12. They won 9 of the last 10 meetings. A's have lost 7 straight. All trends point to Boston. We touched on it earlier as far as them now in the wild card hunt, very much so. So this is a series they have to take care of business with against the A's. You did have some decent starts there from Blackburn. He was using a save opportunity before the break. Don't really like that. Messing with the pitcher too much. He blew the save, so it didn't even work anyways. So he's been bouncing around. Either way, whoever Boston puts in here would be worth a look at the run line into the favorite in this matchup. Boston's just keep on rolling right now.
Yeah, Boston red hot. The bats are going. What do we get? The Red Sox now scoring 7.67 runs per game, hitting 297 since the break. They're making a statement. They see an opportunity. Nets without Yankees without Judge. They just keep dropping. Red Sox can get and sneak in there. Angels pretty much out of the picture. So, yeah, the Red Sox, they should be buyers. Paxton, Bayo, 2 solid pitches. If they get a little something else, they'll be a player.
Then we have Twins at Seattle. Twins coming off a sweep against Oakland. Mariners, they lost 2 of 3 against Detroit, but they're 8-4 their last 12. And Twins won 4 of 7 meetings last season. Pretty good pitching matchup. Gray versus Gilbert. great. Last time out, 6 runs in 6 innings versus the O's. Prior to that, he had 2 quality starts. That was his first bad start this year. His first time giving up more than 3 runs in a start. Even before, when he was having decent outings, never give up more than 3 runs in a start. And then you have Gilbert, who's second in the league with WHIP. He's 2-0 on just 1 run, 13 Ks, no walks in July so far. He's been pitching better. He's very hit or miss though when he's out there. So when he's off, he's really off. We'll see what happens. 1-4, 4.29 and 7 home starts. This game to me is Twins or nobody. Slightly in here to Minnesota, playing good ball, beating up on Oakland. You have the Seattle team here, not looking the best out of the break. I was interested to see how they look after a really rough first half. Struggling there with Detroit at home, very concerning. Minnesota needs to go and continue to take care of business, get some space on Cleveland. So Gray on the mound, 1 bad start there against Baltimore. We'll see if he bounces back, but this game to me is Twins or nobody.
I'm not in love with the Twins, and they swept, but again, they swept the worst team in baseball, and not even a major league quality team. They also did that with Rooker out, Rooker leading the team in homers and RBIs. Gilbert not going against this guy. Yeah, he's hot and cold, but when he's hot, he's damn near unhittable. 2 games, 2-0, allowing 1 run, 13 Ks, 0 walks, and that's the control. That's why this guy has the second lowest WHIP in baseball right now. Seattle needs wins. Twins now with a little bit of a cushion. They opened it up to 2.5 game lead with their win, and Cleveland getting swept. Just more a game that Seattle needs, and they've got their guy on the mound. Great, a rough time. His last time out. Seattle or nobody, but at this price would have to get a little bit lower for me to lay it. The opening line on this one was minus 130. It's ticked up to 135. So there's a little interest in Seattle, but I would have needed like 1.25 to get in on Seattle myself.
And Dodgers at Baltimore. Dodgers coming off that loss to the Mets, snap 6-game win streak. Meanwhile, Orioles red hot. They've now won 8 straight. Coming off series against now Miami. Sheehan versus Rodriguez. Rodriguez, you guys remember, really, really rough in May. Went 1-2, 11.14 ERA in 5 starts. Since then, though, has lit it up in the minors. 4-0, 1.70, and 9 shutout innings his last 2 times out. Sheehan, 5th career start. First 2 were quality starts. Last 2, 8 runs and 8 2/3. We'll see what we get out of him today. Both teams playing good ball right now. This is, to me, a slight lean to the Orioles. We'll see if Rodriguez can kind of find himself again. Not ideal to have your first start back after a rough stretch in the MLB against the Dodgers. So I don't love that it's LA he has to go against first. We'll see how that treats him. But either way here, this Baltimore team, the way they're going right now at home, have to give them enough of an edge in this matchup. So it'll be Baltimore or nobody, John.
Yeah, and that's what the sharps did. They roll over the Orioles here. Dodgers opened as a minus 110 favorite on the overnight. And now you're looking at the Dodgers about a 120 favorite. Excuse me, the Orioles about a 120 favorite. And that's all to do with the pitching matchup. We've been talking about Rodriguez quite a bit since he's been sent down. He's looked fantastic in minor leagues. Can he now do it back at the major league level? So Dodgers, long rain delay yesterday at Citi Field with the Mets. So long rain delay and play extra innings. They come out of there with only 1 run. So all of a sudden they stop hitting. They had a 6-game win streak. They'd scored 5 runs or more in all of those 6 games. So now let's see what they got as they go to Baltimore. Sheehan, after a gem in his first start, not so much lately. Only lasted 3 2/3 his last time out. He got hit pretty hard. It was Rodriguez or nobody. That's where the line's gone. Now it's at the right price. Minus 120. That's what I made the game. Why I didn't bet the game was Cedric Mullins did miss yesterday. He's questionable today. If I knew he was in, I would have laid this price earlier in the day.
And then last game on the card is Guardians at Pirates. A couple of younger pitchers. Curry made a handful of starts last year. He's been only used in relief this year. 23 relief outings, going to be an opener. And then Priester for Pittsburgh going to be making his debut. 7-3, 4.31, and 18.3 starts this year. Guardians, they've now lost 4 straight, coming off getting swept by Pittsburgh, or swept by Texas. Then you have Pittsburgh, who's coming and getting swept off by the Giants. They're 2-10 their last 12. This is 2 teams playing ice cold right now. Guardians, though, they need it more. They need to turn things around. They're obviously a lot more in the hunt. Curry's a bit more proven arm. Even a Cleveland bullpen game, I'll give that an edge over a debut. We'll see what we get out of Priester here. This game, to me, is Guardians or nobody. Bounce back opportunity after getting swept by Texas. I was expecting more for them coming out of the break.
and swept it in a tough. That was a tough loss. Game in hand, and they let Texas go crazy in the 8th, so they let one slip away. Sharps all over Cleveland this one. This was a pick'em game. Now you're looking at 122. Cleveland 122 on this game. Yeah, it's Cleveland and nobody. Still just 2.5 games behind Minnie. They've got something to play for. Pitt has absolutely bottomed out. They blew a tough one in extra innings. Also getting swept by the Giants. Just not hitting at all. Just hitting 213 this entire month. They've hit rock bottom now. 2-10 their last 12. Don't want nothing to do with the Pirates, but I'm not getting behind the Guardians at this number. Pick, I guess, would have been the right number. That's what the Sharps laid.
Yeah, this is one of those weird games where it might be a good one to live bet, depending on what you can get there for Cleveland at a live price. We'll see what opens up. But that's the card, guys. Small card, 10 games. We have lots to look forward to this week. As we said, with the trade deadline coming up, obviously buyers or sellers going to kind of give us a bit more of an idea where these teams are at front office-wise and in the clubhouse thinking-wise, what they're doing here down the stretch of the season. Obviously, all going to have implications to that. Appreciate you guys who've been tuning in to these last couple episodes, getting more views. So appreciate that. The comments, please keep those going. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe below. That helps us out a lot. John, I don't know if you have anything else here.
No, and if you guys had any questions, something you want us to cover or talk about or methods, just let us know and we'll answer it.
And that'll be that, guys. If you guys haven't yet, go to the How to Beat the Bookie website or download the app. You can get that in the App Store or Google Play. You get access to all of John's ratings, his bets, and everything else, previews for each game. We have some pictures haven't been announced today. Obviously, some lineup question marks. That'll all get answered and put out now to our members there later on today. So if you guys want that information, go sign up there. Other than that, John, let's make some money.
Yeah, let's get started off on a Monday.